Well, 124 scale hurricanes this weekend, isn't it? This Sunday. Hello. Hello, Jonathan.
Right, should we start again now? Right, here we are. Welcome to everybody. This is there's no 24 scale hurricane, trust me. This is just these two trying to wind you all up here.
We're 5 minutes in. Don't be under any illusion that this is only 5 seconds in. We are 5 minutes, nearly 6 minutes into it.
We are. We started doing this, and then I forgot the names of one of the guys there. So
he still doesn't know your name, does he?
No. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to Interesting Modelling Company. A special tonight. This is the special where I destroy the friendship I have with Luke and Dale here. Anyway. We're going to have a quick look. It's going to be quick because we're already out of time now. So we're going to have a quick look at the Airfix 2023 releases and just get some comments from these two jokers on what's coming up in the next year. So, gentlemen, of which you barely qualify, how are you both?
Tired. But yeah, really good. Thank you, Jonathan. There's a lot going on, not just yesterday, but yeah, I'm good. How are you, Luke?
Very good. Thank you both. Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. How are you, Jonathan?
No, I don't think you are glad to be here, Luke. I think you'd rather be somewhere else at the moment. It's no. I'm fine. I'm fine. I've had cake, so I'm good. Very fine cake, actually. Right, we're going to go. We're just to dive in and go through into the Airfix 2023 releases here. And the first thing I've noticed is that there are an awful lot of starter sets this year, including, I think this is fair to say, this is a bumper batch of new tool cars as well. What's the thinking behind that?
So the starter set gift set range runs on a 5-year program, or certainly the starter sets do. So 3 years back now, with the introduction of the Tiger 1, 72nd scale Tiger 1 Sherman Firefly, then the Mark 5C Spitfire and the Red O's Hawk, with both those with shadow stands, etc., etc. Started off that program. Say it's 5 years. It could be longer, but that's just what we've got on paper at the moment. And that scales up and down every year. So that started us off a few years ago. Last year, we then introduced the 43rd scale cars, which are great. But we always plan to do some more and make that range a little fuller. So just having the Jaguar E-Type as a classic car within that range was never going to happen. We were always going to add at least one more classic or two more, which is what we've done this year. So you've got the Aston Martin DB5 and then the Series 1 pickup, Land Rover Series 1 pickup. And then, of course, the sort of more modern side of the range with the Lamborghini and the McLaren 765 LT. So, which complement, of course, the cars we released last year, the Pagani and the Bugatti Chiron. So that sits on its own quite nicely now as a range, and they're beautiful kits.
The whole idea of cars also comes from retailers wanting sort of less military some of the time, so that fills that gap in the market. Aside from Spitfires, F-35s, and Red Arrow Hawks.
Yeah, when we're talking to retailers and they go, yeah, oh, I love what you're doing, but have you got anything non-military?
Mm-hmm.
We sort of sit there and scratch our head a little bit and go, we've got this big Bentley. So yeah, we didn't. We felt that we needed to expand our catalogue there, really, and this is what we've given you.
It's an interesting mix because obviously you've got some very, very modern cars here. In fact, you've got two supercars here. So you've got the Lamborghini Huracan Evo, and then you've got the McLaren 765 LT. So these are very much, modern supercars. I think, to be honest, I think these kits are probably the closest any of us are ever going to get round to actually even owning one. But then it's kind of balanced. You've got these two modern day supercars, but then it's balanced with two absolute stone cold classics. And we've got the Aston Martin DB5, which is a very iconic car. And this, I got to admit, this took me completely by surprise when I heard about it. It's a Land Rover Series 1 pickup. I don't think you can ever really go wrong with a Landy, but what's the thinking behind doing that particular model?
So the pickup is something that was in the original sales brochures for the Landy, so it doesn't sound official, but it's the 107-inch wheelbase version. So it's made in 1954, so just after the first, what we're calling Diddy Land Rover Series 1s, the original ones. And the whole reason behind doing this sort of lesser known version, although it's got sort of the iconic face of the Series 1, is that it matches better with the other cars in terms of size. So the length, when you put it next to the DB5 or the E-Type, is very much the same. I think it's just over 100 mil, 105 from what I remember. So it matches better, and you get more model for your money, really. So and for the non-starters, people that might want to scratch builds, you've got all the recovery vehicles and weird and wonderful things you can do with them. So it's a nice thing. And as far as I know, the 107-inch wheelbase, sort of 1954 to 1956 version, has never been kitted in injection molded kit. So it's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, I think most of the 35th scale ones have been, I think they've been Series 2 upwards. And the Series 1 is always very noticeable by the unique kind of grille and headlight arrangement as well. But no, I mean, that's really kind of like that I think for me is the highlight of the starter set cars, because it's one of those kits that's got tremendous crossover, not only for civil modelers, but also for people who do like kind of military-ish models as well. But no, that's I was really kind of like really taken with that. Then you've got, he says, trying to get back to the thing again. Then we've got some aircraft as well, and they are dominated by the F-35, which comes in three guises. It comes as a starter set on its own. It comes as a then and now with a Spitfire, and it also comes in a kind of Dam Busters gift set with an Avro Lancaster as well. Now, bearing in mind that you've got a Lightning in the kind of like quick build range. Yep. Again, what was the thinking behind doing another kit of a Lightning, but doing it in 72nd scale?
So I would say that the quick build is a completely standalone brand. Okay, it shares the Airfix logo in some places on its packaging, and the same team manage it internally. But it is a very different type of product. It is a brick type product. No paint glues or anything like that are required to build it. this is Airfix. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you open this box up and you saw the grey plastic with the glue, paints, and everything else, you would know that this is Airfix.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Quick Build, you might not be too familiar with the concept of it coming from Hornby Hobbies or of that brand. So they are two separate things. Of course, Quick Build isn't necessarily a scale. They are quite often fit to a box, to a price point.
It's a concept.
Although they do share, the Quick Build cars do share rubber tire tools. So to a point, that's the commonality between all the cars. There are some slightly awkward ones and different ones, but they are not designed to a scale.
Mm-hmm.
However, everything Airfix is a true scale, so and real. So obviously what you've got there on screen, the 35 starter set, that is a 72nd scale F35B true replica, or as best that we can make it is starter set form. And Paramjit has always said, the designer of this product, but also the designer of the Mark 5C Spitfire starter set and the Mark 5C Classic kit. Both of those kits were designed at the same time, and then, if you like, save the file twice when he got to a certain point. He, to this day, still says you could build both, put them next to each other, and you wouldn't be able to tell which is which. Mm-hmm. But one's got 74 parts, the other one's got 26. Mm-hmm. And they're both 72nd scale. Yeah, you just wouldn't know. So it is a simplified kit compared to our classic range product. It still comes with gear up, gear down configuration. Given that it is a starter set, it comes with a shadow stand, an F35 shaped shadow stand, with two prongs, if you like, so you can display it in sort of the hover, if you like, or on the tilt. You can see in the illustration there that the air intakes on the top are all open. You can pose those open. And then the exhaust at the rear, which is obviously synonymous with the F35 rotating and everything and hovering, then you can pose that in different positions. So it is not a simple, four-parter plastic model kit that you can then just paint. It is still, you still need some skill, but you should be able to, you should get tons of enjoyment from it. And it is not a small aircraft, an F-35. You put this next to a Spitfire, there's quite a difference between them. Hence the different price point, of course. But and we,
go on.
No, I was just going to say, we don't have a great track record of modern subjects, certainly fighters. I think the last one we did was the Eurofighter Typhoon, and that certainly wasn't Hornby era. So to release what is, the nation's most modern fighter is quite something. So yeah, and it's very recognisable to anyone going to an air show, and hopefully we see the benefits of it being a recognisable aircraft in this starter set form.
I was going to say, Luke, that this aeroplane is pretty much going to be the face of the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy for the foreseeable future.
Well, exactly, yeah. And, it becomes evident that the way the F-35 is going to work is different to Typhoons and other things. When we came to brief the artwork for this box, for example, we went to go do a 617 squadron aircraft. There's no such thing as a 617 squadron aircraft. They're a pooled fleet of aircraft now. So that lightning on the tail doesn't refer to the
yes.
As we found out. So yeah, it's nice to have it in the range. And as Dale said, the most modern we had was either the Tornado or the Typhoon in terms of entry to service, and that was built as the EFA, if I remember rightly. So that shows how old that tooling was.
That's always been frustrating, hasn't it, internally, that we've not been able to do some. Well, of course, we could do ultra modern stuff at any time, but we've not had something in the tool bank that is modern. And it being a was it 5th generation stealth?
Mm-hmm.
There's very little that can be bolted onto this, and it keeps its 5th generation stealth status. So hopefully it won't change too much for us to get some long-term use out of the tooling.
You were saying about wanting to tie this kit in with other subjects as well.
Yeah, so when we were putting this range together at the beginning of last year, I was looking at gift set opportunities, which didn't change. The gift set range didn't change last year, apart from the introduction of the starter sets, those starter set cars we mentioned a little while ago, and some products leaving. But anything other than that, it didn't change. So knowing the 80th anniversary of the Dam Busters was coming up, and that we've got this beautiful F-35B tooling sat there, operated by 617 Squadron, it sort of just fell together. And Airfix has a history of Dam Buster anniversary products. And up until this year, we've always paired the Lancaster up with the Tornado, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And the tooling of which is looking a little bit ropey now. So, yeah.
That's generous.
So I certainly didn't feel comfortable in pairing it with the Tornado. Perhaps we could have put the Tornado in there as well, but then try to keep the price point as reasonable as possible. So, Lancaster, Tornado and F-35. But equally, we want to give the modeler the best experience. And as you've just alluded to, the Tornado didn't necessarily fit that bill. So Lancaster, which is a new tool from a few years ago, I think 2012, I saw someone posted earlier. It's a very lovely tool. And then obviously the beautiful new F-35. The F-35 will have different markings, as you know, and will come with its shadow stand. So it is the starter set F-35 in the box. We are putting a aircraft stand in with the Lancaster. It's not a shadow stand, unfortunately, of the Lanc, although that would look pretty cool if we did. Maybe we have 3D print one of those. And it comes with the bomb trolley and bomb as well. So yeah.
Excellent. The image there is showing them flying over the Derwent Dam. Obviously, a bit of a piece of fiction in that, yes, the Lancaster from the BBMF does fly over the Derwent Dam, and yes, I'm sure an F-35 will with the Lanc, but not the B3 Special. So you have to indulge your fantasy side with that one.
Yeah. I don't think people are going to be taking that literally. Some will, but yeah. We're also got the other one, which is this one, which is the then and now set, which is coupled up with the Spitfire 5C.
Yes. So really, it's a case of price points. So the F-35 on its own is, I think, retails about £20. This is 30, and then the set for the Lancaster is 55. So I wanted something new for this price point, really. And Spitfire was the RAF's leading fighter back in its day. The F-35 arguably is now. So putting those two together just made sense. And it's very rare that we're able to pair up brand new starter sets together in this way, because we don't have many of them. It's we're on a, as mentioned earlier, 5-year or so plan for them. So this was really the first opportunity outside of the Best of British set, which has been in the range for a little while, where we get the same Spitfire, different markings with the Red Arrow Hawk. This pack sits really nicely next to that one.
I think people are probably going to ask you, are you going to be doing these are simplified versions of an F-35, not massively simplified, but obviously simplified enough that a beginner can build a model out of this. I think a lot of people will be asking, have you left the door open possibly to doing a full-on F-35 kit in the future, or is that it?
Well, that door's been open for a little while, and a few people have already gone through it. So, in 70-second scale, or at least one has, and then obviously there's a few people that have walked through the door, the 48 scale door recently. We're not planning to do a 70-second scale classic kit of an F-35.
No, okay.
So we've designed it purely to be a starter set product. We've got the CAD, clearly. We've designed this. We could, should we feel that it was right to, we could then start to look at how we could break that CAD up and add further detail to make a, I'm going to say more enthusiast-led model, because that's what our classic kits are. But no plans to do so at the moment. I haven't got that in the wings ready to sort of go, ta-da! It's not happening.
One thing that I also saw after the launch was people saying, why are they doing a 70-second F-35? There's already stuff out there. And obviously those people failed to sort of see the whole idea behind starter sets, as we explained, is it's not competing with those models. It's for the beginner or people coming back to the hobby. So that's why it's there, and it's there to represent modern RAF.
Yeah, and you can see just what we've done. That one kit, the F-35 starter set tooling, I've been able to make 3 products of.
Yeah.
Now, that's not me flogging a new horse or anything. That's just because, as I said, for the gift set market, it demands different price points, so that it lends itself really nicely to that.
Yeah.
We already do it with the Hawk and the Spitfire in that set. They're available as individual things. So it was lovely. If I didn't have the F-35, would I have done the Dam Busters gift set with a Tornado? Very, very, very unlikely would I have done that. We would have mostly just left the Dam Busters in its classic form, albeit, of course, we're reissuing that this year with a new decal and decal design and illustration yet. and it's in another gift set with a couple of Spitfires. So I most probably wouldn't have tried to shoehorn something else in. It just worked really well, and it allows us to get into more spaces. You go to a big air show, and every time something flies, people come into our stand and go, "Oh, can I have that F-18?" And we stand and go, "Yeah, you can have that." Can I have the F-35, please? No, sorry.
No.
Have you got anything like it? No.
No. Oh, I get it completely, and I can. I totally understand the need for that kind of product in the range, because it's, and it's also it's my old kind of cliche is other people's kits don't make any money for Airfix. Exactly. So you've got to have something in the range, and sometimes you need to have something in the range which has got a unique angle to it as well. And
unless you rebox them.
There is that. Actually, talking of
which we don't really do that often. So.
No, I think some of the armor stuff is reboxed from polybagged, but
it can be. There's that range, but
yeah. Let's look at some of the quick build stuff before we get on to the meat and potatoes of the range itself. And we've got, bear in mind these are like super Lego kits, but with more of a scale appearance. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, we never say the L word publicly.
Right.
No, you can say it. You can say it. Don't have to edit it out. But so we never say the L word. But we like to. We always say that once you've built this, once you've built the quick build model, it doesn't look like a brick after.
No.
And that's one of the USPs with that range. The price point is also quite different to others in its sphere. So, the Routemaster, new TFL, new Routemaster is the biggest quick build product we have designed and announced to date at 88 parts or thereabouts. If you scroll down, it's there somewhere. It's certainly the most expensive. Yeah. It's like I did one of these earlier, isn't it?
What a product.
So yeah, it's huge actually. We're not ready to really put it on camera other than my little video that was released yesterday. Although if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see an exploded view of it.
As I say, it does kind of like look a bit Optimus Prime, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's another franchise. No, it is definitely not that.
Right, hang about.
No,
putting it there, haven't I?
So that it is a big model. We've tried to keep it to scale to the taxi, and the taxi is we've tried to keep that to relative scale to the existing cars in the range. So this isn't a really small bus next to what would be giant taxi or speedtail or whatever else. So they work really well next to each other. We have them both now as test shots upstairs. They do look really nice. And I guess we had the decision to make: did we do ultra modern, albeit very iconic designs, or do we go iconic designs? Classic iconic designs. And we felt that the right move was sort of ultra modern in this area with that taxi, which of course plays on classic designs and everything else. So it's and the bus there plays on the original Routemaster. So it sort of felt right to do new stuff.
Vintage classics. Now, you've got a number of kits coming back from the Vintage Classic range this year, including my personal highlight, which is the Bond Bug. Goodness me. Luke, when was the last time that was in the Airfix range?
1975, if you believe Scalemates on that one, which we're inclined to.
He didn't ask me, did he?
It was originally tooled in 1971, so it only ever got two releases as far as we're aware. And I know it's a lot of people's sort of holy grail kit. It's on the bucket list of kits for a lot of people. And up until recently, they were selling for a lot of money on eBay. So we're sorry to ruin those people's retirement funds.
Up until 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, you mean?
Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's lovely to bring it back. And the reason it wasn't released from 75 until 2023 was because the tooling was lost for all intents and purposes. No one knew where it was at all. So when we managed to find it, it was like, we've got to get this out as quick as possible.
Now, I understand that you've actually had to do some a slight bit of retooling on it.
Yes, yeah. So we had to scan in some. Did we scan in clear parts? No, we couldn't get any clear parts. As I say, they were going for a lot of money on eBay. So we felt it better to get a picture of the clear parts from someone that had the kits, but only scan the non-clear parts and design from that to fit the sort of shell, which Matt, viewer of the show, was more than happy to do. So yeah, we redesigned it using 3D scan data and brought some improvements along the way. So the tooling is still fantastic, talking about the non-clears. But the one thing that the Bond Bug has, you can see on that image there, is sort of vinyl doors rather than glass. So we've added some nice rippling effect into the clear parts. And you can see there's quite a few of them: rear windscreen, front windscreen, 2 doors, and then obviously a lot of the lights to go on. And yeah, it builds up into a lovely little model. It's great.
Yeah, I've got a test shot on the workbench at the moment, and that is one. Once I've got the full package, I'm really looking forward to kind of putting that together, because it's just one of those kits that I always wanted to build as a kid and couldn't find them. And then once that was it, once the production run had sold out, that was it. Also, a lot of people have been pointing out, is that James May driving the Bond Bug? I don't think so, but it could be.
Predates James May. Well, 75, so maybe not, but certainly predates James May.
Looking like that, yeah.
Looking like that and being able to drive, most probably.
But it kind of presciently predicts James May in the future. So
yes.
Airfix ahead of the curve there. And one of the other, what else have we got here? We've got the Well, we haven't mentioned. We'll just do the. We've got the SS Great Western, which is close to my heart because obviously living close to Bristol, it's Brunel country, and this is one of his iconic ships. And it's been away for a while, but that's come back again. And yeah, nice to have that back. Wouldn't say no to an SS Great Britain, lads, but I'm just putting it out there, as an idea. And then we've got, goodness me, we've got the Fairy Rotodyne, which was last reissued in about 95, 96, and that for a while that was quite a rare kit to try and get hold of. It was a compound auto gyro, I seem to remember, an attempt to do a vertical takeoff kind of airliner, horrendously handicapped by the fact that the tip jets were, because it was going supersonic, they absolutely made a howling noise, and it was never going to be acceptable within an urban environment, which is a shame because the concept was good, but unfortunately the technology wasn't really there to to kind of like realize it at the time. And then we've also got here, just going to quickly, we've got the Bristol Bloodhound, which is, come on, load. Got the Bristol Bloodhound, which is, which was a ground-to-air missile. Also, got to say, I got a local connection with this, in as much as there are two down the road from me, one at the Helicopter Museum and another one in a scrapyard outside of Wells, which is always most amusing driving along. And you kind of like, you say to people, and look to your right, and there is a ground-to-air missile. Welcome to Somerset.
There's one at Aerospace Bristol as well, so not too far.
There is.
Yes.
Yeah. So Bristol is well protected at the moment. Should the balloon go up? I had this when I was a kid. It comes with the Land Rover Special this year at Airfix. It's got a Land Rover. It comes with the missile platform, obviously the launch crane, and everything, and some figures, including an Alsatian dog with a tail that's very easy to break off. So. And then we've got, goodness me, the Brewster Buffalo, which is another classic kit. Come on, load. There we go.
I'm glad he wasn't
another classic kit there. Actually, quite a nice model given its vintage. And also a very, very nice piece of artwork there by Roy Cross as well. I think this is coming back with the Australian scheme and with a US Navy scheme as well, in the chrome yellow and silver, which is rather nice. And then just quickly go back again. Goodness me, it's slow today. We'll go to the Bristol Bulldog, a Bristol Fighter and Fokker DR1 triplane. Again, so this is a. Sorry, go on.
It's the first time we've put two. There's the vintage, what is obviously a modern concept, vintage classics. It's the first time that we've paired two aircraft up and brought back what was an original dogfight double.
Mm-hmm. So. No, I'm trying to think what the ones they did were. They did this one. They did the Sopwith Camel and the Albatross, and they did the Roland and the RE8. I seem to remember.
Yes,
I think those are the ones. Two very iconic Airfix kits. I think that deserves to sell well, really, given that it's just such a kind of like a classic, really. And then we have, and this is my personal pick, apart from the Bond Bug, you've got the Stuka. in 24 scale with the box that a lot of retailers didn't like. And so you've decided to go for the box that a lot of retailers didn't like.
Well, actually, the artwork for that was really hard to source. We don't have the transparency, which is normally how we source box imagery. So we had to rely on someone with a print or a really pristine box. I can't remember
really
what it
pristine
was.
Box, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You scanned that in.
And it'd been in the attic a long time. So we scanned it up in three sections and sort of stitched it all back together. So it looks good as new, but it was a bit of a journey to get the original image with the bombs. There was plenty of boxes and prints without the bombs, but we were keen to have them.
When this kit was released in the 70s, I think it was there was a magazine called Pamag, which was edited by Ron Firth, the late great Ron Firth, and he did an article, "Does the perfect plastic model exist?" And they came to the conclusion in the end that this, representing at the time the technology, was pretty much the epitome of plastic molding technology. And I still think that as a model, bearing in mind this is coming up to 45 years now, it's still an impressive kit. It really is. And it, and I think part of that is also due to the fact that it's a big model. It's yes. A whopper compared to the other 24 scale aircraft released at the time. I think this has only been eclipsed by the Mosquito and possibly the Hellcat and the Hellcat in terms of size, maybe, but this was about as big as the 24 scale kits went at the time. And yeah.
But this is wider than the Hellcat, isn't it?
You what, sorry?
This is wider than the Hellcat. I remember this being only... I remember the Mosquito, 124 scale mix Mosquito, only just being wider than this. I must admit, I've not seen one of these built up for...
No, we haven't had a built sample in a while.
Not for a long time. Got one.
Is that a challenge, I hear?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Lordy, I've landed myself in it now. Actually, if you want one built, I'll build one. I mean, it's always wanted to build one. So, okay then. I've walked into that. Elephant trap. Yeah, so we've got that one. And then we will just quickly go over to the aircraft. Well, military stuff. We're doing the military stuff, then we'll do the aircraft. So we've got new vehicles and two vehicles from this range this year. The first one, both brand new toolings. We've got a Ferret Scout Car Mark II. What was the thinking behind this?
Well, Jonathan, it was you, if you remember rightly.
Oh, right, okay.
No, it wasn't.
Hey, it came from Jonathan, who told you, and then it came to me.
No.
No.
What have I misremembered?
Oh, I asked him about what we should do next.
I'll take the credit, but I won't take the blame for it.
Credit. There's a chap in Bovington Tank with you.
Okay.
I think what it was, you were casting around for some ideas, and I think either one of you said, "What about a Ferret Scout car?" And I said, "That would be good," and that was my sole input on this. So
you should have taken the credit, Jonathan. We would have been none the wiser.
Yeah, it wasn't.
No.
You want to ask us again?
No. I'm quite happy to sit in the background and just nod sagely on this one.
I had a meeting with someone down at Bovington Tank Museum, and I bumped into someone else down there, and they said, "Oh, I know what you should do. It's never been done before. In 1/35 scale is a Ferret Mark II," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I've always quite liked a Ferret." So I text Luke and said, "What do you reckon on a 35th scale Ferret Mark II?" And Luke then, you went off and did a bit further research and went, "Yeah, it's never been done."
Yeah,
so
it's one of these sort of gaps that you can't believe's there, really. When Dingoes and Daemon Scout cars have been done, you just expect the one that saw the most service. I know it wasn't in the Second World War, but the most service with the military altogether to have been done. So it was a bit of a shock when we realised it hadn't, and sort of felt we should jump on that straight away. And it's worth saying, one question that's been fielded a couple of times now, is this an academy tool like with the ambulance? And that's not the case. It's been designed in-house at Airfix, and it will be tooled in the normal place that we send our tooling. So it's an in-house job by us.
And does this, without giving away, kind of like future releases, obviously there were other variants of the ferret.
Yes.
Does this does this allow for the possibility of squeezing some extra variants in the future?
Definitely. There's no secret of that. If you look up a Ferret Scout Car Mark 1 or a Mark 1-2, the thing that changes is the turret, whereby on the 1 you remove the turret, and in the 2 you add a different turret on, a fixed one. So the possibilities there, yes. But we felt start with the Mark 2, which we felt was the most iconic of the Ferret Scout cars. With that sort of rotatable turret and the branding machine gun sticking out the front. So it's the one you'll see most of the time. We went with it, and it saw such a varied service life that you can show it from when it entered service in the early 50s through to the Gulf War. So it had a lot of schemes to pick from.
I had my agent Dave Fleming sent me he sent me some photographs today of some other ferrets in some very nice schemes. He just sent me a message saying, put them by for the future. And I thought, yeah, they are good schemes. Obviously, Dave's Scottish, but that's pretty much, that's a good impression of him.
Well, there's so much out there for it. As I say, it's all such wide service. And we've tried to sort of represent that with the scheme options we've gone with, which I don't think are on the website quite yet.
No.
They're on the video.
They're on the video of the range orders, so it's worth going back to look at that. But essentially, one is from Berlin, early 1960s, another's from Bathurst, which is the sort of training ranges out in Canada, painted red
turret,
various places, and a blank turret, because it's just a range safety vehicle, and the Cypriot or the Para ferret serving in Cyprus.
Yeah. No, fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. We've got here also, so I'm just calling up the image here and make sure he doesn't say what he's not supposed to say. We've got here a British Army 30-weight truck, 4x2 GS 30-weight GS truck. This is a adaptation of the Katie. I think is that safe to say?
No.
I'm
I'm
not allowed to say that.
Not allowed to say that.
Okay. Why is that then?
Because I pay a royalty for the Katie, and
okay, right,
I'm
fine.
pissed off that I do when Gecko don't, and they get away with it. So why should I give 8% away?
Okay, right. We'll do an edit cut here. Right, and this is another new 35th scale vehicle, and it's the World War II British 4x2 GS truck, which, as far as I know, may not have been tooled before. What was the thinking behind this, other than being able to extend the tooling that you'd already invested in?
So, soft skin vehicles are sorely underrepresented, is something I could probably say without much controversy. And, we were trying to find something that we could fill a gap with, and this sort of presented itself to us. And it's obviously comes from Academy, and it's Academy tooling.
Well, it's Airfix tooling, but it's done by Academy.
Tooled by Academy for Airfix.
Yeah.
So we were trying to find a soft skin vehicle, and this saw wide service. Although, can you find reference images of them? No, it's very, very, very difficult because they're sort of almost a commodity, these utility vehicles. They were everywhere. Why stop and take a photo of that when you can take a photo of a lovely Spitfire or imposing tank? So they're very hard to find reference images of, as we know, Jonathan. So it just shows why they're so underrepresented. But it's a sort of vital part of Second World War history that needs to be told. And they did a valuable job. And there's a whole market out there.
Without these vehicles, you would have had no resupply. Without resupply, tanks and everything wouldn't have been doing anything. They'd have just been, they'd have sat around rusting or being targets. I think this is again. I think this is probably fair to say. This is the first time Airfix have done a soft skin truck in 35th scale. Pretty damn sure it is.
You're safe to say that, yeah.
Yeah. Certainly a British one, at least. But yeah, it's you're kind of like still working at the 35th scale range. Is that something that Airfix is now confident that it's got a foot in the door now?
I wouldn't say that we were. I wouldn't use the term confident. There's so much in that space. There's so much 35th scale stuff out there. Well, I think we've just been really lucky with the Ferret. So that's, but obviously a different era. As Luke mentioned, this GS truck made sense given our current range or the range that we released last year. There are other areas, and I dare say that we can start to explore stuff that has been done many, many moons ago that could do with a bit of refresh from other from competitors. Is that an area that we really want to focus on at the moment? No, I'd much rather focus on subject matter that just hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that with the 48 scale Gannet, for example. So there's Airfix has always covered quite a wide range of subject matter, which is both a positive to the brand, but also is sort of our Achilles heel, because we have to try to appease many subject types to keep people happy, and it isn't always possible. And even if we doubled our design team and tooling costs and everything else, you have to ask yourself, well, would you double your sales because you could do that? Then I don't think you would. So we have to try and manage what we are releasing into the market. And the market can only take so much. Could we release more? I'd love to release more. And that's an argument that I will continue to have with the business in trying to get additional resource for the team that Luke works in, and working with Martin Ridge in lobbying for that. We're certainly not sat upstairs going, we desperately need more designers to achieve what we've got planned. Obviously, we're planning to our means, if you like. And last year we released a lot of product. And I'm pleased to say that we released everything that we said we would. And that's a testament to the entire team and our suppliers in making that happen. Could I have put another 10 products into the catalogue last year and promised people we'll have 10 products? Could have done, wouldn't have been realistic. So why do it? So let's just be realistic with it all.
Now, this is a subject that has probably been much requested down the years. It's not been done in 48 scale, and that is the Fairy Gannet. Goodness me, you've certainly gone in off the deep end with this one, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's been asked for a while. Following the Buccaneer last year, sort of we switched to, right, now we've done that most wanted kit, what's next on the radar, and what can we do that's sort of combining the popularity of the Buccaneer and the left fieldness of the Anson, maybe, and you arrive at the Gannet.
It's a big old aeroplane.
Yeah, there's over 300 parts to this, which is it's somewhere on that page if you scroll up, I think.
327.
There you are. No, I haven't got that to heart yet. I will soon. There you are.
There you go.
If you think the Spitfire is 433, there you are. 433 parts. So it's only 100 parts less than the 124 scale Spitfire.
And then obviously the big feature of this that gets people talking is the folding wings. So when you look at the classic airframes kit, obviously that didn't have the option, but straight from the box you can build it wings up or wings down. You could build one wing up, one wing down if you so wished. It's not technically correct. That's not how the wing system works, but you could if you just wanted to show it off.
It's now one thing I will say about this is people can't see it from the images, but the surface detail does include all the kind of like the riveting and everything. You've gone full out on this one, haven't you?
It's a rivety thing in real life, and we felt we had to do it. We actually got first test shots last week. I think it was Friday. So Paramjet, who designed the kit, is currently building it upstairs, trying to test out the fits and all that good stuff, and making notes on finish. So yeah, it's a rivety thing in real life, and we visited enough to know.
Well, and also you've got that unique selling point of the fact that whilst there have been new tool 72nd scale Gannets in recent years, nobody's touched it in 48 scale. So you've got the whole market to yourself now.
Yes, yeah. We looked at the 72nd kits when we were building this kit, and obviously looked at the sort of multimedia 48th kits as well, and felt there was plenty of room for improvement, let's say. So hopefully this delivers on it. I won't speak too soon, but we're pretty quietly confident. So
there was a lot of oohs and ahs coming from that end of the office today when Paramjet came in, and the designers all sort of started to huddle around the fresh plastic first shots, which is always a good sign. So
I think some people will be asking why isn't it a Gannet AEW? I think the simple answer to that is it's the Gannet AEW is just such a limited airframe.
We get one release basically.
Luke scanned an AEW, didn't you?
Yeah. I've scanned XL 500, the one at South Wales Aviation Museum, St Athens. And essentially just wanted to check what we could do. Was it the same wing as it appears to be? Obviously, the fuselage is massively different, and soon came to a realization that you can't cross-kit them. There's no compatibility there, really. But as you say, when it comes to why do we do AS rather than AEW, it's releases. We have to get more than one, and that's all you get. Although the AEW served a long time and it played an important role, so did the ASW, and it served the Australians, the Indonesians, the Germans, and saw service after being anti-submarine as well. So there's a bit of legs in the tooling, let's say, for a second and third release, whereas you just don't get that with an AEW. No. Equally, if we'd have done an AEW, you'd have a load of people saying, "Why didn't you do an anti-submarine?"
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to quickly touch on these. You've got the 48 scale Buccaneers coming back, and it's got this is going to be the Royal Air Force version. Anything to add to this?
It's got a load of weapons, so that's the main difference. Obviously, it's got the RAF specific parts. Slipper tanks and aerial fit, radio bay, stuff like that. And it's got 4 scheme options as we had with the Navy release, but it's more varied because the RAF used it more. It's not just going to be extra dark sea grey like the Fleet Air Arm version. So we've got 4 scheme options in there showing sort of early D-type roundels all the way through to Gulf War. So hopefully there's something there for everyone. My personal favourite being the red flag scheme with the sort of desert camo at all over, and then the green and grey at the back. And that's actually a local airframe for us. X3352 there's a nose section of it at Manston, which we use for the research of the kit. So it seems apt.
Excellent. Right, and then I'm mindful of the fact that we want to kind of like wind this up now. You wanted to talk about the club kit.
Yeah. So the 2023 Airfix club kit has been announced. It was announced last week, which is the FR9 1/72nd scale Meteor. Of course, we released the F8 Meteor in that scale last year as a brand new tool, and this is an add-on to that. So it's just some new parts, new nose, and weapon set included for the FR9, and two amazing decal schemes. So the RAF decal scheme and then an Ecuadorian scheme, which Luke did an absolute magic job in finding those. And I guess we are always looking to do something different for the Airfix Club, just to make it that little bit special. And up until this release, it's quite often been special decal markings. But the base kit has been something that you've been able to buy through the catalogue. So it's only been the decals that have been unique. This is different. Oh, here we go. So this is a bit different. So we, as you were seeing from yesterday, or the lack of, the FR9 Meteor is not in our catalogue at all in 72nd scale. So if you want that mark, essentially, you have to sign up to the club. And the base kit retails for $23.99. I think the F8 retails for $23.99, and the club to join the club and get this kit free is £30. So for £6, you get the kit that you're after, plus an annual membership to the Airfix Club and all the benefits and everything else that come along with that one.
Hunter, 48 scale, FR9/FR10/GA11. This is not so much a reissue as a bit of an update to the molds, isn't it, Luke?
Yes, so it's the usual sort of third-year capex in that we're adding parts to enable an FGA 9, FR10, GA11, sort of unlocking those parts. So some of the bits have been in other boxings, but not all of them. So it unlocks that. But we've also updated the base kit, the F6, so shall we say, to be a bit more accurate. So it was pointed out to us that there were a few errors with it. So trying to jog Chris's memory from about 5 years ago, we soon found that the outer pylons were too far out and the inboard pylons were too short. So we corrected those, added on an ejector outboard pylon ejector fairing, so the two little lumps on the upper wing that you see on Hunters, and added another nose door leg. So the door that connects to the leg, there was only one link. There should be two. Someone was obviously looking at a perfectly straight-on image and forgot to mirror. And a couple other smaller tweaks just to correct some of the issues. But those were the main ones. We ended up correcting the FR10 nose. Obviously, it had never been released, but we soon, whilst we were looking at it, thought, right, we'll go over everything. And had to change the window or the camera positions because I think they were perfectly mirrored and they should be staggered on the real things. So a bit of investigative work, and we got there. But yeah, so it's corrected, and we're quite proud of that. We wouldn't have felt right releasing the kit knowing that it was wrong in a number of areas. Sometimes you have to make compromises for schemes, but knowing that the kit's just wrong didn't sit right with us, so we felt we should correct it.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's a Hunter. I mean, goodness me, if you can't sell Hunters, what can't you sell? It's such an iconic aeroplane.
The most beautiful post-war aircraft, I would say. That's my claim there.
What, the Hawk? Yeah, I agree.
But Hunter.
Debate.
Right, gentlemen, what we're going to do is we'll be picking through the bones of the 2023 range on our show live with whoever's on this evening. So we'll do that separately. Anything else you'd like to add? Any extra thoughts you'd like to add about the 2023 range?
Cool. Anything else?
His bed is large on the screen now as well. He's really putting the pressure on. No, I'm for one. I'm really excited about this year's releases. Last year was pretty good. This year's going to be even better, I think. With seeing organic test shots and everything upstairs, it looks pretty super. From a marketing perspective, it opens up some really cool marketing opportunities for us. Quick build, which we've not covered here today. There's some cool stuff there that allows us to explore areas that we've not gone into marketing wise before as well. So yeah, some great stuff. Really looking forward to it.
I'm excited to get the tools out, get the products out there. It's all good and well whilst it's on our desk, but when it starts hitting, when I start seeing reviews on Brick Modeler, I'll either be very happy or very sad. I'm hoping I'll be very happy.
Yeah, well, all I've got to do is do my end of the bargain and get on with the decal scheme. So, right. So, yeah, I'm fine. We're good. We're good. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on to this pre-record. And we will, hopefully we'll get you on again at some stage in the near future, perhaps to go into some of these kits in a bit more detail. But until then, I'd like to say thank you to Luke and thank you to Dale. And like I say, we'll be back. Well, we're doing a live anyway tonight, looking at the rest of the Airfix range. But until then, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you all very soon. So bye for now.
Back to you, Jonathan.
Back to the
Thanks,
studio.
Boss. Thanks, boss.